Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Torch Tales, Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie. You guys know how this works. Someone sits there, I sit here, we happen to have a conversation, and that person happens to be in the welding industry. In some sort of way, they chose, or the industry chose them. Who knows? We'll find out. Here I have one of my good friends in the industry, Frank Haskett. Frank, thank you for saying yes. We've been planning this since episode 1, and
right.
he just got too big. That's
I don't think that's what happened.
That's the kind of guy he is. But but Frank is with TIMS. And before I ask more questions about TIMS, what exactly is TIMS?
So TIMS is an industry-specific ERP for welding distributors. So we help manage, your inventory for your hard goods, your gases when you're renting cylinders. We can do some stuff with mobile delivery, all the way down to living, breathing financial statements, all that stuff.
So it's pretty much the trackability of everything and anything.
Everything related to the business, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
As much as you can.
All right, so now we know kind of what that is, and we might just go a little bit more in detail, but you guys know how this works. That's just icing on the cake. We want to get to know the person, where they come from, why they are here. So Frank, I know that you are from Montana, I think?
I'm from Idaho.
Oh, are you? Right?
I live in Montana.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So born and raised in Idaho, or you kind of...
Born and raised, born in a small town, Orfino, Idaho.
Oh, yeah?
Like 2,500 people.
2,500 people, huh? Yeah, that is small.
Grew up there, lived there.
Yeah?
Then I graduated, and then I dispersed.
As a kid, Idaho, what were you into? Who was that little boy, Frank?
It was a lot of sports. It was
Okay.
a lot of playing outside with your
Gotcha.
friends, building tree houses and things like
Okay.
that. My family are all big into outdoors and
Okay.
hunting and fishing, and there's a lot of that.
Gotcha.
Camping.
So you actually play organized sports?
Yeah.
Yeah? What sports?
Well, in high school, I played everything: football, baseball, basketball, and then I played baseball in college.
Gotcha.
A little bit.
The other ones you really sucked at, or you were just better?
I sucked at all of them. I just was slightly less sucky at baseball.
All right, cool. Because we have that in common.
Yeah.
We played, I come from warmer weathers, but I want to know what the difference is, because I know you also travel for baseball and play in other places.
Oh, yeah.
But how was that playing in a cold state versus some of the other places that you actually got to visit and play on?
So, high school, our whole league was where I grew up is where Idaho kind of starts to turn into a panhandle.
Okay.
And our whole league was up kind of in the panhandle,
Gotcha.
except for a couple schools. So, our senior year of baseball, we played all of our away league games at home because we couldn't play up there.
Right, of course.
You can't practice.
Yeah.
You can't. Then in college, I went to a junior college on the coast, and it rained all the time. So you just kind of got used to rainouts and playing weird schedules just because you had to.
So you never had the perfect weather for
No.
baseball like I grew up with in South Florida and stuff like that, right?
Never.
Yeah.
And even after junior college, I went to Bellevue University outside of Omaha, Nebraska. And you really don't have that until March.
Right.
So
For 4 or 5 months.
First 2 months of the season is always going to Texas or Oklahoma or to Florida or to wherever you can just to get outside because you just spent the whole spring and winter in the indoor facility.
I wonder how was the first time you actually traveled somewhere to a hot state. Because right now we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's 100 degrees. It's been 105. Who knows? It's like hell with better breakfast. Let's just so
Maybe.
the first time you actually went to a hot state, what was your impression?
The first time I went to I was actually in Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Hot. We came down. We played a school called Cochise, kind of on the border.
Yeah.
And it was so hot. And I had made a stupid 19-year-old kid. I shaved my head just because.
Ooh.
And I got blisters on the top of my head. And I was a catcher, so you got to put you had to put a rag over it.
I know,
and then
right?
Put your helmet on, and then you could put your mask on. So that was I never liked playing in hot.
Yeah.
But then when we'd go play in Florida, you get anywhere where the humidity.
Correct.
And your knuckles start swelling and
Yeah.
everything. I didn't like that either.
These prima donnas,
Tough.
I'm telling you. life was tough.
It was so rough.
I know. And I know that you played into college, but as you're playing in college, and do you have a vision then? Like, are you already thinking, what am I going to do when I grow up?
I still am thinking that.
Well, more
What
back
are you
then.
going to do when you grow up?
I never grew.
That's we're in this, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of, so as a kid, the NAIA World Series, which is like a lower level below NCAA or whatnot, the World Series is like where I grew up in Lewiston, Idaho.
Gotcha.
And it's always a big thing, and that was like, you dreamed about
Something
that.
to look,
So I kind of, I don't know if I didn't dream big enough or I'm just too much of a realist, but my goal was always just to play in college. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream.
All right, so you didn't have you never knew that college was going to end at some point?
I knew it was going to end for sure, but I wasn't one of the, like, I never had false aspirations of like playing big. I knew I wasn't going to play big league ball, right, or independent ball. I knew when college was over, it was over.
Yeah.
So after that, I mean,
senior year college. So you played all 4 years?
I played 5. Well, I medical redshirted 1 year. I had back surgery 1 year.
Gotcha.
So 6 years of college.
He really liked it. What can I say? It's like I'm going to stay here regardless. I
love Nebraska.
Right. Yeah.
So that year, I don't know. I didn't have a plan really at all.
So all right. So last year, 4, 5, 6, whatever that number is. So now you got your diploma, and you're
I got 2 of them.
2?
Yeah, I double majored.
Oh, okay. Well, so now he has 2. All right. You flip him, you look at him, and you go, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. So I kind of, I worked landscaping and I delivered pizzas in college, like throughout college.
Gotcha.
So the first few months after I graduated, I'd get up at 4 a.m. and we'd go do landscaping till like 3 or 4, and I would drive to the pizza place and close it down at 1 or 11 or whatever time it was. And then I'd just do it again, and I'd do it every day,
So that's what a job sounds like. Yeah,
it's 2
you do it every day, right?
It was 2 jobs, but it was 4 a.m. to 11. I mean, it was no sleep. It was no real days off.
How long did you do that?
What's that?
How long did you do that?
Probably that intense was probably like 3 or 4 months.
Got it. But so when you were in college, did you major in something? What was it that you said, this is what's going to give me some money in the future?
Even that, I don't know. I just I got a sports management degree.
Okay,
I wanted to work in sports.
Yeah, you wanted to touch guys and
No.
Oh, that's not okay.
No, not like a
sports therapy
thing. No, like business management.
All right, I was just saying. Yeah. Yep. It's
no
needed.
Comment.
It's needed.
No comment.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I had that back surgery. And
Correct.
so I had this extra year, and I took a psychology class at Bellevue, and I liked the professor, and she was the head, and it was kind of interesting stuff, and I was kind of looking, and I was like, well,
you were kind of looking at her, or you were kind of just...
I was looking at my credits.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just want to be clear.
I need to clarify.
Yeah.
No, but Roxanne was awesome, so she's a saint. I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
See this. But I was just like, well, I guess I have enough time. I might as well just do both. So I got a sports management and a psychology degree, and here I am working in
something so related.
In the welding industry.
Yep. So, but you said that you did, the whole pizza and loan and all that for about 3, 4, 5 months, whatever that is, and.
Well, I did that throughout college. I just did it that intense.
But then after college, what was your first real adult career job?
So I tried to find one in Omaha. I was squeezing in job interviews at all these places, and it wasn't working. I wasn't finding anything. And then my grandmother got sick back in Idaho with cancer, and so I was like, well, I have nothing going on, so I moved back.
Okay.
I kind of wanted out of the flatlands too. I had to get back to the trees and the mountains, and then I was taking her to chemotherapy, just driving her and taking care of her, and then she went into remittance at one point, And I was like, well, shoot, maybe I should probably get a real job. I was substitute teaching and kind of assistant coaching, and I coached like an AAU basketball team in middle school just to keep myself busy. And a friend of mine that I went to high school with, his dad was a commercial banking officer, commercial banking manager at a bank in the area. And he's like, you ever think about going into this? And I was like, never in my life had I thought about that. So
or anybody else for
for sure. Nobody plans on going into banking. And I was like, no, but I guess I'll try it because I needed. So my first big boy job, I was a credit analyst for a commercial banking division for a bank out west.
All right, so a 30-second explanation what that is.
It's the most boring job in the world.
I kind of figure, but
you sit in an office and you just anybody that applies for a loan has you have to give your financial statements,
check all the boxes or whatever. Yeah.
And my job was just to review those, look for anything that was bad, put in all the information around their business license, and do all the credit checks and things like that, and then hand it to a loan officer and say, "Here's my recommendation."
Gotcha.
And then they make the decision.
Alrighty, that's super exciting. I can see that.
It was tough.
Yeah, I know. I bet. And how long were you there?
So I did that job as an analyst for about 6 months. And we we're a big agricultural market, so we did a lot of wheat farms and cattle ranches and things like that. And we had an agricultural lender that left, and then we hired another guy, and he was there for 3 months and kind of made a mess of things.
Okay.
And so in my role, they were like, we need somebody to manage these accounts for a while to see. Yeah. And so I just kind of started doing that. I started driving out to farms and meeting with farmers and looking at their loans and restructuring things.
So you are still working for the bank?
I was still working for the bank.
Gotcha.
I was still an analyst.
Okay.
And then one day they were like, you're kind of doing the job already. Do you want to become a lender, a loan officer?
Okay.
6, maybe it was 8 months. I don't
Gotcha.
remember, but pretty quick. So I did that.
So in a way, that's kind of sales, just for a different product.
Totally is sales.
Yeah, correct.
We had commissions. We didn't have commission. We had bonuses, but we had goals we had to hit every year. We had so many we had to get through.
All right. And so in the banking between being a credit analyst and now out there doing sales, just selling loans.
Yeah.
Right. How long as a whole were you in the banking industry?
So that was, I think, 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess by that time, now you are in your mid-20s, right? 24, 26, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's 26.
Yeah, got it.
27, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So now 5 years later, you have experience of pizza delivery, cutting loans. Now you were saying no to people and their credit lines, giving out money.
Yeah.
What came next?
So COVID happened.
Okay, gotcha.
So I ran it all the way up into COVID.
I'm sorry. What is COVID?
You don't remember? You probably don't remember.
I know. Yeah. It's all right. So COVID happens now, of course.
So everybody goes to work from home.
Yeah.
The banking thing kind of really got weird because nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew where the money was coming from. What do you do with these loans? You have to pause them for a period of time. You've got the PPP stuff. Was all kind of changing every day.
So people are not taking loans right now.
And it was, we're working from home, which I hate. I hate working from home. I never do. And I was just you wake up in the morning and you'd sit down and you'd be on the phone with people.
Whoever answered,
whoever was calling.
Yeah.
And people at the bank trying to get answers to give to the people calling you. And the next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock and you're still on the phone and you have no answers.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
And there was, the banking thing is it's kind of a unique industry. You've got federal regulation, you've got banking standards and.
Correct.
So it was never you think you find the greatest loan and you take it to somebody else and they're like, well, there's this one little piece and we can't do it. And, I also, my first couple, when I was still an analyst, right in that phase between, we had to repossess a couple farms. And that was the most soul-sucking thing ever because you're sitting in a courthouse and these people aren't bad people. Well, Some of them are bad people.
Some are just bad decisions and life.
Life. Bad stuff happens. Third generation, and now you're losing your family farm, and I've got to sit on the other side in a courthouse saying, well, here's the number.
This is why we're taking it.
And I hated that part. So
that is rough, yeah.
So COVID happens, and I'm just burnt out, and I'm tired, and I'm not liking it at all. And my wife, she was my girlfriend back then. She got a job as a registered nurse in Billings, Montana.
Gotcha.
About 9 hours from where we were living, and I was like, "Take it. I'll figure something out."
Yeah.
And so
I'll be there as soon as possible.
I will do whatever I can. That's legitimately what happened. I had a house that I had to sell. I moved her over there, got an apartment, and then I started job hunting and doing all that stuff. And I interviewed at a few banks and got a couple offers to do that. And I was just like,
I don't like it here. Why would I like it there?
Yeah, you don't. You wake up every day and you're like, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore.
I've been there.
And so I just was looking on like Indeed, I think, and I saw this posting for TIMS, for Computers Unlimited, and I was like, that's kind of all the stuff I liked. I liked going out and working with farmers or business owners.
So the position itself from the get-go was listed as outside sales?
Outside sales.
Okay, got it. And outside sales doing what specifically?
Specifically our industrial software for the welding distributors.
So selling the software.
Selling the software.
Gotcha. But now your girlfriend back then, she now is in Montana.
Yeah.
You're still in Idaho looking at what's out there, and you find this post, I guess. How long of a gap between when she left, she's already working in Montana, you're still in Idaho, like what was that gap?
So it was June when she left, and I sold my house at the end of June, and I figured I had enough money to get me through the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to really be picky, but I could.
Got it.
I could get through and survive until we figure out what we're going to do.
Gotcha.
I moved over there in July, the end of July, so a couple months she was by herself. And then August, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know, how long it would take.
Correct.
I also was super burnt out, so I wasn't really in a rush.
Yeah. So the break was nice.
But it didn't last very long because I did the interviews in August, or July actually. I drove over and did an interview, and then heard back from them a little bit, and took the job and started September 1st. So.
Huh. Now, because I know you mentioned your now wife, and you got married last year, I think, right? Or 2 years ago?
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago. So how long have you been with your wife? How long?
9 years.
9. College? You guys met in, or?
No, kind of randomly. Her parents are from my hometown, so I knew her dad. Her dad ran like the tire shop in town, still does. And we kind of we met on Tinder. All
right. So even though you guys are somewhat close by, the family knows each other.
I didn't know about her.
Got it. So it wasn't first a physical I run into you kind of thing.
No.
All right. So Tinder. All right. Got it.
Hey. Tinder.
Well, guys, it works.
Sometimes works.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's not just a customer; he's a user. Anyway,
I did not pay for Tinder.
Yeah.
I never did the.
It was on the free one. Yeah.
So.
Well, good for you. I'm glad to see a good one that actually came out on the winning end. Yeah. So now
I used to tell a fake story about how we met because it was embarrassing, and now I don't care.
Hey, who cares? If you don't like it, turn it off. So that's cool. So so you guys went on this, and you guys know how this works. I go all over the place. You guys went on you guys got married where?
Northern Ireland.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was an epic trip. I seen some of the pictures, and it was just pretty cool, amazing. And that way you go far away and nobody follows you, only the people that you really want around you, right? So it saves you a lot of money that you can spend on the actual trip.
For sure.
Learn from those, that have
I recommend it to anybody.
Yep. So now, going back to TIMS, so you take the job, or the reason why you took the job once you had that interview, and they said, this is what we need. What was the one thing that sold you on?
There's a couple things. There was a few things. It was, one, it seemed like what I liked about the banking without the banking. It's
okay.
Computers Unlimited owns TIMS.
Gotcha.
So it's like they're the developers or creators of TIMS.
Okay. Is TIM an acronym for?
Yeah, Total Information Management System.
All right, cool. Got it.
And ERP is an enterprise resource
Process program.
something
Yeah.
like that. But I didn't know. I'm not like a computer guy, so that was like I was a little nervous about.
Well, that's what. Yeah. So go ahead, explain.
But the thing I liked that it had that vibe that I'm going to be working with business owners and going and spending time with those and looking at. I've always kind of really liked business processes.
Okay.
And like analyzing successful businesses versus unsuccessful
Of
businesses. So I liked that part. I liked that it's a family-owned company.
Correct.
I mean, David, our president, his dad, Dr. Mike, started the thing. He's still around every day. David's running it. It's like a lot of these distributors that we work with are the same way, these independents.
100%.
It's such a cooler vibe than the commercial banking side. Like,
Now, are they computer engineers themselves? Like, what's
Dr.
their...
Mike, I think he was a chemical engineer.
Okay.
And started dabbling in computer. He's just he likes to build stuff.
Gotcha.
And I think he had I don't know the whole backstory real well, but he had a friend in Colorado that was a distributor, and he was like, well, let's play with some stuff around renting cylinders, and then it just
developed to what it is today. Got it. So now you are on. You said yes. You liked everything they offer you, and what was there like a training? Did you have a mentor? Did you follow? Did you shadow someone? Like how was that process in the beginning?
That was chaos too. There was a guy there that was the goal was to shadow because it's a big system.
Correct.
There's a lot to learn there, and then I'm coming from outside of the industry, so I got to learn that side of things.
Correct.
And you got to learn how to quote.
Just communicate with this industry and these owners. Yeah.
Right. So they weren't planning on me selling really at all for 6 months or so. And I had asked that in the interview. I was like, I kind of understand there's a lot here.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to come to a place that's like, you better start making sales tomorrow.
Yep.
Because that won't work.
Yeah.
And so they're like, no, there's a guy in the industrial sales position. You're going to shadow him. He's been in the industry forever. You'll learn from him. It kind of didn't work.
Okay.
He was let go 3 months in, and they kind of looked and like, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah. Remember that time frame we gave you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
was
accelerated.
Half. Yeah.
We accelerated it, and so then it was just kind of diving in and try to learn on the fly.
So when you're learning on the fly, what does that mean? Like, are you already traveling? Are you already out there saying, "Hey, I'm Frank with TIMS, and I think I'm selling this"? Yeah.
Initially, no, because it was still kind of COVID, so it was a lot of virtual calls.
Gotcha.
I did start traveling during COVID, which was the greatest time to travel.
I missed. We know that a lot of bad things happen. We know that
part's sad.
Correct, but definitely just the traffic and the traveling part for what we do for a living.
Empty airports, dirt
empty
cheap
roads,
flights. Always getting upgraded to first class because there's only 12 people on the plane.
Yeah, so that I missed too. Yeah.
So it was a lot of calls and introductions, and our director, he was an industrial salesperson at CU for 20 years. So that was the other thing that I liked about CU was one of the first things they talked about in the interview was like, I think it was 60% of our workforce had been with the company for
a long time.
5, 10. We had a bunch over 30. We've got, and you're doing something right.
Correct. For sure.
So that off the get-go is like, this must be a good place to go.
Yep.
And he had been there for a long time, and so he was kind of on these calls with me, and we're talking, and I'm trying to pick up on things, and I'm kind of demoing the system.
Gotcha.
I was stupid. I didn't know jack back then.
Yep.
So
fake it till you make it, baby.
That was pretty much it. And learn, like, every call, try to take something from it that you can use
for the next one. Yeah. Or you look a little less dumber on every call. Yeah.
And I think one of the strong points I had going for me is I was never scared to say I don't know. But I damn sure can get you an answer, and I will make sure to get back to you. And, so there was a lot of that in the beginning. It was like, half the call is, I don't know. I will have to look into that for you. I don't know how that works. I will get back to you. Let me tell you,
So do you consider yourself a computers guy now?
No? Still no.
No? Okay.
And I even in my interview, I thought I had sabotaged it because I was like, I don't I grew up in northern Idaho.
Yeah.
It was the 90s, early
Gotcha.
2000s. My folks had dial-up until like 2017 because we
Really?
lived in the mountains. We had 15 acres in the
Yeah.
mountains. We didn't have,
Gotcha.
and we played outside. We went, we hunted, we
I
went.
totally get it.
So I didn't have a cell phone until I went to college. You know,
Yeah.
I had a track phone for emergencies.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only dial 2 numbers.
That's
Yeah.
it stayed in my glove box in my car.
Yep.
And I just said it's never been. I'm not.
Yeah,
big on the
you were not
programming.
exposed to it.
Yeah.
As, you know, so that's all it is.
But I like the business processes, so I can use a computer.
Of course.
But I'm not. I was like, I'm not. If you're looking for somebody that's going to be technically savvy as far as like what's in the server and how do we, develop this or code this, I was like, I don't.
So when you are out there, you know, you go and you sell. You're trying to sell to a new distributor that has some other system and or maybe just no system and all paper.
Some of those too.
I know which.
You know who you are.
Yeah. You know, there's like, a box of scratch pads, and, and then, hey, just transfer all this to the new system. Great.
That's fantastic.
I know. So when you are selling a system that you walk into whatever the process they have going on right now, so now you consider yourself well-versed enough to say, this is everything that we can do, and you actually demo the system yourselves, or you now making calls to the engineers, to the computer guys, or whoever they are?
I demo by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times, like there's certain applications I'll bring in like the product owner because it's hard to demo certain stuff.
Gotcha.
Not in that you can't demo it, but some stuff, you need data moving.
Yeah, correct.
A regular business is posting batches and sending invoices, and you need that data. But in a demo area, you kind of have to force some of that. So there are certain things that I call and have a group that'll do it,
Gotcha.
if it's specific. But I demo, the whole system as much as I can.
So now do you consider yourself an expert at what you do?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a hard question. An expert?
All right. So how many times do you get stumped in the last? I'm going to give you the last couple of years or the last year or so where you visit. They ask you something that you just don't know how to answer now.
That happens almost daily.
Gotcha.
But it's a big system. Like TIMS has hundreds of options in the background. You can build it to do. There's 10 ways to do any given process.
Got it.
On like the fundamental level, I don't get stumped very often.
Okay.
I don't think. Sometimes, but usually
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp, but it's constantly changing. We're adding new stuff.
Of course, yeah.
We do enhancements every quarter, and I'm usually on the road, so I miss the roadmap call or whatever, and then I jump into the demo area and say, "What is this? This is new. This is cool."
Gotcha. And now that you are, because you've been now with TIMS, how long?
4 years.
4 years. What's your actual title?
I'm an industrial sales consultant.
All right. Aside from the obvious things that you've mentioned, the relationship part, visiting, being on the road, you like that part too.
Yeah.
All right, because you don't like to work from home. I'll take those things aside. What's the second thing you like the most about what you do?
Yeah, the number one thing is dealing with the distributors.
Correct.
That's my favorite, like going on site and seeing it in action.
Yeah.
The other, it's just, you never do the same thing 2 days in a row.
Okay.
You never know what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
Every day is wildly different. Last week we were in Missouri for a system rollout or go live, and it was 5 days of chaos of people, how do we do this? Or we're stuck here, when you turn the light switch on and you're going, it's just chaos.
Do you stay at those locations for that long? When
we go, for the first week, we go on site, and it's usually a team of us.
Okay.
So we had 5 of us for this one, because we had multiple branches to cover and a lot of different stuff that was.
Have you seen an actual faster growth or just steady growth in the 4 years that you've been with TIMS? Like, has it gone? Like, we watched this Economist today earlier, right? He's saying like 3-4%, so on. Have you guys seen more like, poof, whoa, we were not expecting that, or this is standard with what we were expecting?
We're beyond what we were initially expecting.
Oh, really?
It's been a massive, like the 4 years have been. We've added 35, 36 accounts in 4 years, which is, I mean, it's a longer sales process. It's a big move to change everything in your company to a new ERP.
So that kind of confirms a little bit of what we listened earlier today, that, the economy is actually, it's in a great place, or has been in a great place for the last few years, if you have had that growth and we continue to see, because our industry as a whole, I'm having the same conversations, and most people say, I'm having some of the best years ever
100%.
right now. So it's hard to argue with that side, regardless of everything else you hear or believe. So that's great to see and to hear that, because that's the same thing that I'm running into.
For sure.
You're not traveling. You're home. What do you like to do on a personal level for fun?
For fun.
Yeah.
I got into fly fishing recently.
Oh, really?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like to golf. I like to camp and hunt and do that kind of stuff. I haven't had time to do very much of that since we started this job, but watch football.
Gotcha.
We had fun last night.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Go
and are you guys planning on having kids at some point? Is that in the you and your wife, that means, to make sure
I defer to her.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
At some point, she's a nurse. She's now going back to school to try to chase this dream of being a vet. Veterinarian.
Oh, really?
Yep. She likes.
So she doesn't want to deal with people anymore.
She likes animals more than people.
I can totally get that. Yeah.
That was. I mean, even when she's still an RN, but I always made the joke that like if I was sick or something, I got no medical help from her. She didn't bring her work home.
Call 911, dude. Call 911. Yeah.
Go see your doctor. Is what she says all the time.
But I just need a Band-Aid.
That's it.
I don't know. In this industry 4 years in, what's been one of your best trips that you were like, wow, I love what I do, and this is one of the greatest perks here?
I mean, going to the shows.
Yeah,
we have fun all the
regardless
time.
of the shows, but just the place itself.
The place, man, there's some cool ones. We go to cool places, you know. I think Nashville's my favorite city, right? Like, I just love it. So every time I go out there, it's the most fun. But I had a really fun one there. There's been some that you, like one of our first accounts, they had no system for 47 years.
Okay.
Everything was paper. And they were a bunch of guys that had been doing this for a long time, but they had to make a change. And I mean, that was the most intense week of just, you had a old timer.
Literally from zero, and then say, grab your finger and click that button. Yeah,
and I was cussed out and yelled at, and you get through it, and now everything's going well. We're 2, 3 years, 4 years later, and the guys that were cussing me out, call and say, you talk to them like old friends.
Of course, yeah.
Those are cool.
Those are always good to flip and know that.
And you look back and you're like, that was so crazy of a week, but it was pretty damn fun. Like it was intense. I liked doing that. It was a challenge.
Yeah.
Maui was cool last year.
Yeah, for sure. Maui was cool.
You can't beat Maui.
Yeah. So I always ask this, and of course, without offending, what was the one state or city that you went to that you went like, you know what? Cool. I think it's not my cup of tea.
I'm kind of that way with a lot of cities.
Really?
I mean, I live in Montana. Billings is the biggest city in Montana. It's 110,000 people. I grew up in the mountains,
So the less the better? Is that what you're saying?
I like my space.
But Nashville is not
I
like
love
that.
Nashville. And I like going to cities. I just don't know about I hate going to Miami.
Really?
That one.
Yeah?
I'd love to come see you, but...
Shit. I don't know why I asked that.
Yeah. I like parts of Miami. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I hate driving on that freeway, those freeways.
Well, yeah.
I'm used to stop signs and maybe a couple traffic lights.
I know. I get it.
That's the part I don't like. It's not necessarily the city. Washington, D.C. I was really excited to go to, and it kind of underwhelmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Smithsonian, I like doing that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And I went to it and was like...
You were expecting more?
I wanted more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, next time they'll start charging you. Maybe that'll.
Probably.
And it's like, yeah, I want you to charge me. That way I can feel like, yeah. So when
I love that. There's a lot of cool stuff, but
yeah.
it was, and again, it was people probably. There's so many people in there. It's hard to get to.
It is, no, for sure.
Anything.
I love DC, but because of that same reason, but it's a love-hate relationship too as well. I get what you mean.
The monuments are cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff. You know, the history is cool, but the people were everywhere.
Well, it's only going to get worse because
They just keep coming.
they just keep coming.
Keep having babies.
People just keep having sex. It is what it is, you know. Yeah. In the industry now that you are 4 years in, not just the software part, the computer part and all that, but it forces you to really just learn things whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So, did you know anything or how intricate or how much really the actual welding industry, how many things it touches?
No, I think broadly, maybe, unconsciously. I took metal shop. I've done some welding. We've done some fabricating stuff.
Gotcha.
My dad's a handy guy.
All right.
His friends, so I was aware. I had no idea about the distributor side.
Got it.
I didn't know that that how any of that
Correct
worked, or that it was a thing.
Yeah.
But it's legitimately touches everything.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. And whether it's the actual tooth pieces being glued together to just the gases part.
The gases part.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was not aware of all that too.
Got it. And do you see yourself doing something else outside of the welding industry now that you have 4 years in?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Like you look around, you're always thinking, this is kind of right where I want to be.
Yeah.
These people in the industry, I mean, I feel like I fit well with it. They're my kind of people.
Yeah.
I grew up, my family's all loggers. They're all
gotcha.
tree fallers,
Yeah.
It's the same kind of people.
Yeah.
Hardworking,
Just
blue collar people that you can just bullshit with and have fun.
And there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. It's I kind of stumble into it as well, and I'm on the brass manufacturing side of the things, and 14, almost 15 years later, here I am, and I'm just having a blast.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. The relationships, the friendships you create. Yeah.
They're like some of my best friends.
Yeah.
I see you guys way more than I see.
Yeah, some of my regular family blood, right?
100%.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. And
I see my folks like once a year. I see you all the time.
I know. Yeah, you're welcome.
You're
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. No, I think I remember the first time I met you. It was what show was that? Was it Seven Springs or was it AIWD or one of those? I don't know what it was.
Was it at the Broadmoor?
Oh, maybe
First
it could
year
have been.
in Colorado?
It could have been.
AIWD?
Yeah, because that's what, 3 years now, 3.5 years.
Four.
It was
three,
4.
three and a half, something like that.
Yeah, maybe it was that one. Yeah, because I remember we were just the new Frank and the little Frank and
big Frank and little Frank.
Yeah.
You decide which is which.
Correct. Yeah. So now the spin-off of this is going to be between two Franks.
Between two Franks.
Yep. And coming to a theater near you.
It's not a bad idea.
I know. Actually, he has a
We're
charisma.
ideas guys.
He has a charisma. I'll just sit here and just say yeah. But I think I'm going to give you a compliment here on camera. So.
I don't accept it.
Whatever. It's not your show. I do whatever the hell I want. So you just sit there and listen. Yeah.
All right.
This guest. 4 years in, and conversations always, happen at the bar, this or that. And, of course, sometimes, about a specific person or this or that. And I've never heard anything or anyone say anything bad about you. You're a very likable person. You do have charisma, and that comes, that is needed, or not needed. It just helps. So I'm always watching, even though I'm always kind of joking around and all. And I love to people watch and just see, they have it, and most people, or at least the people that usually talk about you when somehow, oh, Frank, we're going to see Frank or this or that, or Frank was here. Your reputation definitely is a good one, and that's very important because some people get burned out, and or some people get tagged, and it's hard to shake that off.
Sure.
So definitely, whatever you're doing, whatever money you're paying to them, it's working. So I'll give you kudos on that, because definitely it's nice to see, especially someone that is not just younger, but also just a few years in.
Yeah.
So it's a combination. So you're doing it the right way.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you going next? How does your year looks for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year is just jam-packed.
Really?
I think we've got, basically so part of our implementation process, we start with people coming to Montana to kind of set the foundation for the whole project.
Gotcha.
Because it's hard to do over the phone.
Correct.
You got people on the customers coming in, so we're like, hey, come to Montana.
I want your attention, yeah.
Let's have some steaks and let's talk about the system. So pretty much every week from here until, I don't know, February, it's either on site for a go live or traveling for a demo or having customers in Billings like every week.
No, that is pretty cool. Well, especially if it's around home, just also lets you just be there a little bit.
Yeah. It's a unique place for people to go too. Like,
is it?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
You get people from West Texas or from Florida.
That is true.
But
we
had a customer drive from Miami in a Jeep a couple weeks ago to come up and just go camping.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
We
it.
went with one of our implementers, and they had a ball. But yeah, drove a Jeep from Miami.
That's dedication. That's all I'm gonna say, because I would fly. But anyway, yeah.
He flew home.
Oh, he did. Also, he rented one.
No, he's shipping the Jeep down, I think.
What?
He's the man.
Hey, good job,
man.
dude. Good job. You're a better man than a lot of other people out there. That's dedication there. No, but that's cool to hear that. Just keeps you busy. It's nice to see that you guys are growing, and that definitely people are trusting the brand, trusting you to therefore trust the brand. So kudos on all of that. Kudos on getting married, and I met your lovely wife in Hawaii, I think it was.
Yeah.
By then I had already seen all the pictures, because I was like, hey, look, like, okay, we get it, yeah.
That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah, all the time, like, look at my wife, whatever, dude, yeah.
She's good looking.
You have a very good looking wife, you are very lucky.
Absolutely.
She definitely got the short end of the stick, but it's all good, it's all about what's
She's
inside.
got bad eyesight.
Yeah, all right.
That's played into my hands.
I can see that, but Frank, I want to thank you for taking the time, for always being so cool, and definitely saying yes from the beginning. We just couldn't make this happen earlier. It happens when it had to happen, and he always wanted to be number one, so I'll call this episode Season 2, Episode 1.
Darn right.
Parenthesis ego. That's
Ego.
yeah. It's all about his ego. That's why. Yep. He just wanted to be number one, right?
I wanted to do first.
Yep. But I thank you, brother. Definitely, it's been a pleasure just knowing you and calling you a friend in the industry.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
And nobody's better than you, dude.
Well,
we have a lot. We're able to have serious talks. We're able to joke around. Introduce me to people. You've been like a big guiding force for me, and everything you do, I look up to you, and I aspire to be like you, and I appreciate everything you do.
I think I'm gonna cry. No, that means a lot. It really does, and I really appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Cool. Well, guys, I hope you guys learn a little bit about Frank and a little bit about what TIMS does, and definitely any other questions. I'll tag him. You guys get to ask him questions, and definitely there's a lot of you out there that could be using a different system or a better system or just a system. Going from the paper to the click and vice versa. So not vice versa. I'm not going backwards. You guys know what I mean. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something from another guest of the industry, another friend of the industry, and you guys know what I always say. If they keep saying yes, who am I to say no? I'll see you somewhere else with somebody else. Thank you, guys.